husband and wife team, Jon and Patricia Sharp, will chase their dream to invent the ultimate racing plane for the world's fastest and most dangerous motorsport, air racing.
If you look historically, you can go back in the medieval time, everybody wanted to fly, like a bird. You know, it's like something in our soul, you know, want to do it. The flying and building your own airplane, that's a big challenge. That's wonderful, huh? That's a dream come true, you know?
We had to be idiots for setting out to design a whole airplane. I mean, I don't know what the hell we were thinking at the time.
Don't forget the mission of this airplane, it's a race plane. So there's no compromise.
Mayday, Mayday 3X, Mayday.
There are times you could cry, you know, you say, why do I do this?
This whole thing starts as a dream. It's just a dream out there in your head.
Jon Sharp is an aircraft materials specialist who has helped to create some of the world's most advanced military aircraft. He also holds dozens of world records as a civilian air racing pilot. His wife Patricia, a pilot and aircraft builder herself, also manages their team, Nemesis Air Racing. There's nothing more important to the Sharps than competitive flying. They will stake their livelihood, reputation, and Jon's life on creating what they believe will be the race plane of the future. Today, the Reno National Championship air races are the last example of true air racing. Once a year in Reno, Nevada, 6 different classes of aircraft compete during 4 days of racing, with over 200,000 fans in attendance.
When you say you're going to an air race, most people, you have to explain what it is. I mean, they can't conceive of airplanes flying around poles put up in the air.
It's 8 people going for one spot, just like car racing. But you have the vertical element where you can actually fly up over someone.
You start at 8,000 feet, you go into a dive which accelerates you to the max speed of the airplane, and then it's just a matter of trying to make the airplane go as smooth and as fast as you can for 6 laps. You know, the smallest mistake can kill you.
Pilots fly in a group around a 6-mile course for 6 laps.
They cannot be below the pylon, and they cannot be inside the pylon. It's a penalty for each.
The pylon is a fixed object, and if you're in a 45-degree bank, you're flying as tight as you can if you're at pylon height. If you're up here, you're flying a bigger course. And if you get here, you can't see the pylon. So I try and get down where I can see the pylon and fly the shortest course I can.
Reno is about going fast, going really fast. You got these guys building these ridiculous machines, and they're taking out and see what they can do with them.
Racing at Reno is definitely risky. It is a little, in some people's opinion, insane. But when you think about what we're doing out here, we're basically going back to the early days of aviation and seeing what technology can do to make the airplanes go faster.
When air racing started, it was about pushing the edge of the envelope. It was developing the fastest things on the planet. That's what Reno is. And that's the future of general aviation.
Jon is in his element in the air. He is
a pilot's pilot, one of the better pilots you'll ever see fly.
Jon Sharp and Team Nemesis, when he raced, he would just dominate. His name of the airplane should have been Dominator.
Jon is the winningest pilot in the Formula One class in his old airplane, Nemesis.
Jon Sharp's retired race plane, Nemesis, is the most successful aircraft in the history of air racing. Jon and his team made Nemesis impossible to beat by making countless small aerodynamic improvements.
Nemesis was a one-seat airplane that you build in your garage with 100 horsepower, and it's a very tiny airplane. That's Formula One class, which is, little bitty engines, very restricted, very formal, what you can do, what you can't do, and very restrictive technology. We kind of felt like we were in a little box. We had decided we were going to leave the Formula One class.
A new class of air racing has been created to encourage high-tech innovation. Sport Class will allow Jon Sharp to follow his dream to create the ultimate race plane.
The group that we're going into, Sport Class, it's technology in warp drive, and that's what is going to make this new class, the Sport Class, the future of air racing. It's definitely the technology development.
In the Sport Class, racers start modifying things and tweaking them to go faster and faster and faster, and we have the epitome of that in Daryl Greenemeyer. We have Daryl Greenemeyer at the top. His airplane is extremely well prepared by Andy Chiavetta. Greenemeyer is certainly one of the all-time best pilots.
Daryl Greenemeyer's aircraft, built by Andy Chiavetta, just incredible horsepower, super modified twin turbo. Daryl's out of Indio, California.
So far I've got 175 hours on the airplane, and I'm on my 4th engine. So I treat them pretty bad. It's nice to go up and beat up on my fellow man. It's fun to win. It's fun to win.
Mr. Greenemeyer is very good, and so am I.
John Parker is right here from Reno, Nevada.
Got a beautiful Thunder Mustang, and it looks gorgeous at a distance. Close up makes no difference. John Parker.
John Parker in the Thunder Mustang. He's been running 2nd or 3rd in the races. He set some world records with his airplane. It's going to be even faster now.
Am I happy about being 2nd? No. They have that expression, 2nd place is first loser. Show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. I see sport being the future of general aviation competition.
While others modify existing sport planes, Jon Sharp has staked everything on inventing a new race plane that he hopes will be the future of air racing. Jon's design focuses on advanced aerodynamics. He believes the NXT's unique shape will create very little resistance as it moves through the air, making it faster than the competition. Jon's volunteer team members are among the world's top aeronautics engineers. They met while working together at Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works.
It takes a lot of people, to do this. Kevin Lutke, our principal designer, and Darren, our aero guy, it's their project too. I'm incredibly blessed. I have a wonderful partner that's a teammate. We never stopped working, never stopped driving for the goal.
It's going to be different racing our own design. Our purpose is to see how, what we can do and, what we can produce.
The development of the NXT is funded by the team's sponsors and the sale of kits to other race pilots. Competitor Kevin Eldridge has purchased an NXT kit and will compete against Jon Sharp's prototype.
Started looking around for aircraft to buy, and somebody told me that there's a plane being developed in Mojave that's going to be the next generation race plane. I was convinced that this was, the cutting edge of air racing, and I ordered a kit within a couple weeks.
Kevin is taking the risk of building a plane that's only slightly behind the prototype in its level of completion and testing. That's a big risk. Most people want to see what's going to happen to a new plane before they put their money down and build one.
I gambled on this airplane, watching Jon's airplane develop and building this plane. I think that Jon's experience is what's going to be the difference.
Doesn't that look neat? Can you get the backside by yourself, Darren? This is the good stuff. What really makes this plane different is that we glue stuff together. Well, this is the adhesive that's going to glue the fuselage to the wing. So we really want this to be good adhesive. We don't bolt our wings on, we glue the wings on. Okay, I'll pull it down, see what happens. Well, that went easier. And we don't bolt our tail section on, we glue it on. Doing good, doing good.
Techniques that are being used on this plane and materials are used in military planes and stealth planes. Jon Sharp has taken a lot of time to research and develop the processes that he wants us to use.
You know, there's a lot of planes out there that are made with carbon, but not all of them are made with this percentage of carbon.
The carbon fiber is 10 times stronger than equal steel. It's much easier to work with from an aerodynamic standpoint. You can literally create any shape you want.
Because it is a very strong, very light material, it's perfect for this plane for the amount of stress it goes through. It is a race plane.
Jon and Tricia do everything. Patricia builds every piece of this airplane. She builds with her own two hands.
The carbon fiber material comes like this. We just cut our plies. We place them into the mold. We go ahead and bag it and cure it. And it's cured in our oven for 8.5 hours, ramping up to 250 degrees and ramping back down. So, ta-da, a spinner.
It's just a big undertaking, and you just have to want to make it happen and will it to make it happen. I guess it's time to start the engine now. This engine, it's called a Lycoming TIO 540-NXT. It was configured and developed specifically for the NXT kit airplane. The first thing that sized the plane was the Lycoming engine. You know, it's a big wampum engine with 2 turbochargers and 2 intercoolers, and through some advanced technology, things can also help to control the engine performance. Nothing like this has ever flown before, and so that is a legit question. Will it fly? Don't know. Probably will, most likely, but it is a question.
Today, Jon must prove to his sponsors, team, and the pilots who have bought NXT kits that his prototype will fly.
First flights are always scary. I hate to say you cross your fingers and push in the throttle and hope for the best, but that's really kind of what you do. I'm not going to do anything violent on this flight. I just mainly want to feel things. You just climb up high and get the feel of the plane. You know, is it twitchy? Is it heavy? Anything goes weird. If I see anything really strange in the cockpit, we're going to just return to base.
And once we get up in the air, I want to get in close enough to be able to see if there's any leaks, stuff like that, so you need to hang back just a little bit.
Sure, oh yeah. Our first liftoff will be somewhere around 120 miles an hour. So we'll be really screaming down the runway. It's kind of scary. And then you lift the plane off and do a very quick stability check. Is everything okay? And you get the first real-time feel of the plane.
Father God, we just thank you for this morning, Lord. We just ask that you would keep Jon safe and all the chase airplanes safe also, God. And I just ask for your blessing upon that.
So I think we're all equally petrified.
Thank you.
Switch is on. Clear.
Clear for takeoff runway 26.
Roger. I'm at the east right now.
Roger. And 333 X-ray takeoff, clear land runway 30.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
It's been a long way to get to this day, and scary all along the way. After all this time and all this work, and looking back and going, holy crap, it's flying. Wow, this is cool.
That's what I kept on saying. Wow, it's flying. Look, Mike, look, like you couldn't see. It's flying, it's flying.
Thumbs up, everybody.
Okay, great day.
We know the plane doesn't do anything weird, flies very good, and we just had good people all around, and it made it easy. I mean, if we didn't have them, we don't know where we would be, but we know that we wouldn't be here. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for showing in our dream.
Cheers. Congratulations.
I'd like to see 4 or 5 NXTs racing around a race course and having them all place 1 through 5. The work still continues, and it'll be full focus on going to race.
Yeah.
Good night, Mr. Nemesis.
Men, women, old people, young people, they want to be around airplanes. That's why they're here. Airplanes. Out here, it's the wide open spaces. You got the blue skies. When they're cranking up, you can feel it in your chest. You can smell the fuel burning. You can feel the excitement in the crowd. And that's what an event is all about.
Every time we go to Reno for an air race, I do worry. It's a dangerous sport, and I do forget to breathe. I'd have teammates around me and say, breathe, breathe. But it's part of the racing. Crazy as it sounds, I still absolutely love the sport.
High-speed, closed-course pylon racing is dangerous. It's just the nature of the game, and those who participate in it are fully aware of the consequences.
Team Nemesis is joined by crew chief Steve Hill, who will prepare the team for qualifying.
We have our well-defined responsibilities. I give John a good, safe airplane, and he flies it as good as anyone at this airport can fly it. The thing was made to race, and we're out here to fly it fast and race it and be as safe as we can, but that's what we're here for.
Stead Airport. Sky conditions clear. Temperature 6.3.
One of the greatest sounds in the world is these engines as they start to crank up and turn over and fire.
Here we are. All in our places. All in our places. You get to qualify one time. In the sport class that we're in, you time either 1 or 2 laps, pilot's choice. You know, if you don't qualify by Thursday, you're out of luck. We just want to get out and get a good time and get on to the next step. Right now, 2 laps. We're qualified. John's clear to land. There he is. Oh, come on, John. Oh, no. He lost a gear. God damn it, he lost a goddamn gear. Watch out for airplanes.
Plane's broke, but I'm okay. No sooner than I touched down, there's a really loud bang from the left side, and the left wing dipped down, and I knew I was in trouble.
It only went 10 feet off the runway. It's credit to his flying skills of holding that crippled plane from going cartwheeling.
I'm sitting there in a cloud of dust, looking down on the ground, thinking about the dream that just went pop.
There's an infinite number of things that could have happened that we don't quite know what it is yet.
There's vehicles all over it. Okay, that wouldn't work either, so we're just kind of stuck here like get the airplane moved, correct? Okay, thanks, sir.
Our whole team went sliding down the runway. We didn't know where we were going to go from here. We didn't know what we were going to do. That dream was just completely gone. It was just wiped out. My initial thoughts were, we're going to have to cut this thing up to get it home because it's destroyed.
It's no one's fault. The plane's one unit, as the team is one unit.
Let's push her home, boys.
Just seeing it pushing down the ramp really did my heart good.
She ain't dead yet.
For skidding on the runway and dragging sideways in the dirt, it's pretty good shape. I was really surprised.
It looks remarkable, really.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape.
Well, this thing will fly home eventually. It's going to take some work.
The engine guys downloaded their data from the computer and they go, well, you know, you weren't anywhere near full power. And I go, I know. I know I wasn't.
I'm a little bit tired of looking at it.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of forensic examination that's going to go on by the Sharp operation as to what caused all this.
It's terrible. I wanted Jon to be out there and make it a full field. He's done an awful lot of work, if you can imagine, starting from scratch. I mean, it's a monumental task, and you know, he had to be devastated.
It just makes us very sad. Even though it's your competitor, we're still all family.
I want to beat everyone out here when everyone is running their best. And I think that's the way everyone else feels.
One year later, Team Nemesis has repaired their prototype. The new paint job pays homage to the GB, a revolutionary 1930s race plane that had many setbacks before proving to be the most successful racer of its day.
Well, after our last landing at Reno, where our gear collapsed, we've been working to restore the plane, put it back together. The actuators that move the gear up and down just weren't up to the task, and they just said, I give up, and they did. Gear coming down right now. And so since then we've just been working on it to get it back to what it was. This year the intensity level is just unbelievable. We've come up with a noise in the plane that turns into a vibration that starts to shake the whole airplane. And it starts to shake the whole airplane. It's, you know, who knows where that can lead. So it's a very scary thing from the pilot's perspective. I mean, you hear this noise and it's like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Having something upset the airplane like that, well, it could be disastrous. Pilot's not calm, crew's not calm, wife's definitely not calm. It's just a bad deal, and it's got to be fixed.
There'll be two of us this year. It'll be Kevin Eldridge racing his NXT for the first time. This is one of the first aircraft that he has built on his own. He's so excited about this, and it's so much fun to see his excitement.
We're now 2 weeks away from Reno, and the first engine run was about 8 weeks ago. Hopefully be able to get some serious time in the air in the next 2 weeks. I'm still really a rookie. This will be the first year that I have an opportunity to be very competitive at the high end. I've got to compete against the designer of this airplane, obviously Jon Sharp, who is, in my opinion, the best there is, and Daryl Grenemeyer, who has got more experience flying aircraft than anybody I've ever heard of. I'm only bolting on 400 horsepower. Daryl is going to be in excess of 650 with a similar engine. There's no reason why I couldn't have put on the same engine. But to me, the airframe is new, and I don't want to be thinking and worrying about the engine.
Daryl, what's it like getting ready for Reno every year?
Miserable. It's hectic and loaded with tension, and I always wonder why I'm doing it about this time. Andy forces me to do it.
Yeah, right. It's been built 3 or 4 times over. Could do it in my sleep now.
We started out with pretty much of a stock engine, stock airplane. We started modifying the engine to get a little more power out of it. We're getting lots of power out of these little engines.
If you can increase the fuel and air mixture going into the engine, you can increase the power. That's what turbos do, basically give huge amounts of pressure into this engine. Well, you reach a point where if you put too much pressure, too much fuel and air mixture, instead of the fuel burning, it explodes, which is called detonation. And they can physically blow parts out of them. We introduce water and alcohol into the cylinders to reduce that detonation point so we can keep boosting it and keep bringing the pressure up. You can keep boosting it up a lot and get a lot of horsepower out of this engine.
Daryl's airplane over there, they've taken a 300 horsepower engine, they're getting 650 or 700 horsepower out of that engine.
You know, you're pushing these airframes, you know, to their limit.
Yeah, these are very high-tech airplanes. Some of these are running right on the edge of exploding.
The question is, what can I do to beat Darrell? The only thing I can really hope for is that he makes a mistake. The likelihood of that happening is not very good because he makes darn few mistakes. Hopefully I won't make any. The advantage that he has is a speed advantage with his turbochargers. I wish this thing was faster. I wish I had more horsepower.
We're literally probably over 100 miles an hour slow from where we need to be competitive. During these test flights, we've had a whole bunch of adversities in this noise and vibration. Started, was it 40 hertz? Yeah. We got to the point where we didn't know where to look. So we got some help from one of our supporters, Textron Lycoming, and we put some instrumentation on the plane.
This is a little accelerometer we're going to glue into the airframe behind the passenger seat. We have 2 remote accelerometers which just measure vibration, and we have mounted them in different locations on the plane. So during flight tests, we're just getting all this acceleration and vibration data. After the flight, we plug it into our laptop and we download the data. So we're trying to identify the instant in time where he sees the vibration.
On the 250, I'm getting little hints of the noise. 255, there's the noise. 257 on set. 260 still going. I'm waving at the camera.
Roger, copy all that.
Pulling out.
The combination of things helped us to find the source of the problem. You know, our plane has 4 gear doors. They took quite a beating in our sliding at the airport in Reno, and so we've been working on those. We have one brand new gear door which doesn't fit as good as the original one, and now we've got it surrounded and we're working like crazy trying to get that fixed so we can get our speed up so we can go fast.
We'll be doing a lot of testing from here to Reno, and we'll be leaving for Reno in about a week and a half. That's we'll just give our 100% and see what happens. I mean, that's all we can do.
We're happy to be here at Reno. I was extremely pleased with the way our team performed last year in the face of adversity, and it's just going to be better this year, way better. And we have Kevin Eldridge with another NXT. He can go as fast as we can go, and it'll come down to pilotage, and that's going to be a heck of a race.
We have Kevin Eldridge, a rookie. This is one of the 2 Nemesis.
I'm still experimenting with my own style out there. My biggest fear is looking stupid, doing something stupid. So you have the ego issue of 300,000 people all watching you make that stupid mistake is probably the biggest one in my mind. But I'm just honored to be able to fly with people like Darrell and John Parker and Jon Sharp.
There's some major unknowns. We obviously know Mr. Greenemeyer has not been sitting still all year long. Of course, the NXTs are here. They're big unknowns because they talk about how fast they go, but they don't show us. It all comes down to Sunday.
After a year of repairs and rebuilding, the Nemesis NXT is ready to race.
Here we go.
You know, we're really looking at this for the long term. We just want to get a good solid race under our belt.
The problem is, if John hears that sound, he is going to pull up out of the race, and that is the end. It's a DNF. DNF means did not finish. That's what they put by your name on the score sheet. We don't want those. We want a speed by our name.
Taxi runway 26. Okay, take them out. Clear for takeoff runway 26, winds 22006, gust 15.
3X, thank you. That's it. Just calling off the ground.
Copy that. Formation is looking very nice. Okay, stay loose, everybody. Here we go, start to turn for the chute.
They are coming out the chute.
Gentlemen, you have a race.
We have a race. As they go out past the guide pylon, Darrell Greenemeyer and John Parker are side by side. What did you expect? This is the way we expect the race to unfold. They are 4 miles away from us when they are going around pylon number 5. Man, they are some kind of beautiful. Look at that. All right, we're watching as here they come with Darrell Greenemeyer in the lead that he is so used to, and John Parker in second. Kevin Eldridge. We got a mayday call as one of our racers has pulled high and off the course.
Mayday 3X.
Wind 270.
Way high.
Gusting to 25.
Is that Jon Sharp up there?
That's Jon Sharp called.
Okay, in his in Nemesis NXT, that number 3X was John was pulled high over the course.
I still have power, but vibration.
We don't know what the problem is, but folks, get the heck out of the way. We got to have a clear line.
Keep it high, John.
270 gusting 25 will be setting up for 26 right away.
Stay in closer. Turn towards the airport.
Lord be with me on this landing.
Who's tracking Jon Sharp in his Nemesis?
You're coming down.
Okay, you got it?
2 in the green, 3X.
Okay, roger that. We got him. And he's letting down. You see him.
Thank you.
And should be touching down momentarily.
He's down.
Meanwhile, Darrell Greenemeyer comes around and crosses the Reno home pylon finish line at 371.45. Holy cow.
Mayday 3X. 3X, Mayday 3X. Mayday 3X, Mayday 3X.
We got to the speed where the sound occurred and the pilot has to pull out because you don't know if parts are going to come off the airplane, and we have a gear door fluttering or something, and we don't want parts to come off the airplane. That's bad.
We felt like we had everything pretty well under control, and you know, I guess we don't. So we've got to go to work tonight.
Daryl Greenemeyer took an early lead to John Parker in the Thunder Mustang. Looked like he was threatening right away.
I placed first. It was as fast as I've ever flown the airplane, let's put it that way.
We placed second. We had it all hanging out, but it just wasn't enough. He was clearly faster, and there was just nothing I could do about it.
I think he can run with me, but you got to have a power plant to get around.
Kevin's come out with his NXT, and he was turning 346 mile an hour laps with a stock engine, and he came in third behind guys that have 30 years of experience and tweaked engines.
The aerodynamics of the Nemesis NXT is far superior to the other airplanes that are competing. Kevin Eldridge only has 350 horsepower, yet he was putting up speeds that Daryl was putting up last year, and Daryl's engine last year is close to 600 horsepower. It's very exciting to see that low of a drag on the airplane, and it's close to what we were predicting, and so that's even more exciting.
This noise that John heard yesterday, we installed what's called trip strips, which is just a little small diameter piece of wire, hoping that we could trip the airflow right there and reduce the suction of the air on those doors.
The air is trying to pull the door open, but at the same time the actuator is trying to keep it closed. So they're fighting each other. That's what's causing the vibration. The trip strip will make the air turbulent and hopefully change the flow characteristic under the door, and hopefully that will solve the problem with the gear door buzzing. It's just a matter of trial and error and trying to figure things out.
Isn't that adorable? Yeah. Cute.
Just gotta get the right color. In gold.
Team Nemesis must complete this race to make it into Sunday's championship race.
All right, in the back seat of the we're going to watch out to the right side as the sport class takes off.
Gold flight checker.
3X.
42, 351, 33. 4 gold flights ready for takeoff. Starting to roll this time.
Clear for takeoff on 126.
I know Daryl Greenemeyer by the paint job, so we got Daryl taking off. This is Kevin Eldridge, right?
Yes, Kevin Eldridge.
Even sitting on the ground, that's a fierce-looking airplane.
Is airborne.
What will be your last aircraft is airborne. What class you cleared down the chute? Roger, cleared down the chute this time. We have started down the chute. Gentlemen, you have a rig. Gentlemen, you got a rig.
All right, let's watch now as they're going to appear over the grandstands over our right shoulder.
Kevin just jumped the start. He made a beautiful start. up in second place as they came around the home pylon for the first time, which had all of us screaming and yelling on the sidelines there.
All right, well, Daryl Greenemeyer, Jon Parker, Kevin Eldridge, those are our three front runners.
I think Parker passed him. Yeah, I think so.
John's high and long. Go, John. Go, buddy. Go. Way to go, John. Way to go. Way to go, buddy.
Watch our leaders in the final lap.
Checkered flag.
Your winner, Daryl Greenemeyer, in the Sport Gold, followed by Jon Parker in the Thunder Mustang. That's followed by Kevin Eldridge, number 42, followed by Jon Sharp in his Nemesis.
He raced an airplane. He raced an airplane. It's so awesome.
Finally, after all these years.
We did it. It's a milestone. We raced our race plane for the first time in 6 years.
This was a big step for our team today and everybody involved to get our first complete race under our belt after everything we've been through. It was a very small victory, but it was a big one for us. My race speed was 302. You know, that's just really slow for this plane. The plane can go so much faster than that, but we just wanted to make sure we could get a race under our belt and get into Sunday. And that's what we did today.
Yeah, I passed John at about 80 knots overtake at the start, and that's all I really saw.
Kevin's plane's doing great, and then he came whizzing by me, on the start, which, he did good. I'll just leave it at that. The plan is to go up and finish another race, and we'll go faster tomorrow, I'm sure of that. And hopefully we won't get noise bit, but we'll go faster tomorrow.
You never know what's going to happen until it's over. Racing is not just going around the pylons, it's everything that builds up to it all the time.
Yeah, it's racing. Things can turn really quickly. It's a mechanical war. We got to keep that thing working. If it doesn't work on Sunday, then it doesn't matter.
It all boils down to when the checkered flag drops Sunday evening. So it's where you are at that time that really counts.
For each team, an entire year's worth of work all comes down to this race.
Let's watch now as they're going to appear over the grandstands over our right shoulder.
Already going around the first one.
Reactivate 8, reactivate
What's Mayday?
Okay, we got a Mayday on the course.
He's out.
Wait, what?
Jon Sharp called Mayday, and fire equipment is moving out into position here. We have Daryl Greenemeyer at 350.13 miles an hour. And it looks like Jon Sharp in the Nemesis NXT 3X has touched down, and of course it ain't over until it rolls out, but he is safely on the ground. So we got one Nemesis in the air now. Daryl Greenemeyer is our winner. John Parker is second. Then Kevin Eldridge is third. Jon Sharp, of course, with the Mayday and safely landing after declaring that emergency. We have no cuts, no fouls, so it looks like a good race. Your winner in the Sport Gold is Daryl Greenemeyer. His final lap speed of 358.97 miles an hour. Real shame that the Nemesis NXT couldn't do it. You know, there's next year. Wait till next year.
I know he disappointed sponsors and fans, and John is infinitely disappointed. And as soon as he shut down the airplane, I ran up and apologized to him. I'm sorry, John.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
I caught it before it went ballistic like last time.
Good job. Last year's slide has caused our problem, and we've been fighting it ever since.
I'm thinking that possibly the NXTs might be just a little touch of a bust because of the years of hype that you've heard and then the reality of what you see.
The future of the NXT is really one unbelievable. People are real excited about it, and we're proud of it. It'll come back.
It looks bad now, but what would look worse? People can say what they want, but if he pushes it and has a problem, then I think the aircraft and it could be, forever lost.
Team Nemesis has completed every race this year and holds third place as they head into Sunday's final race for the championship. Kevin Eldridge is not competing this year because his NXT was badly damaged in an emergency landing.
Relentless is still on life support system right at the moment, and the plane's really within a couple months from being able to put back together. Not being able to compete this year is tough. But that's air racing. That's what it's all about. Things don't always work out.
Daryl Greenemeyer has stepped down and handed the reins over to fighter pilot Rod Von Groot this year.
Daryl brought me out a couple times, let me fly the Lancer, and turned me loose with it. Daryl has always known how to make things go fast, and it does go fast. John Parker stepped up the competition by supercharging his Thunder Mustang, and he's a fantastic competitor. He wants to win. He's an air racer, he wants to win. And Jon Sharp's the same way.
Right after Reno last year, we found what our issue was. It wasn't until we got home that we saw a picture on the internet that showed the wheel out of the gear bay by about this far. And we went, okay, now we know what we're looking for. Once we found that, it was just a matter of a 10-minute adjustment, and we fixed it probably an hour later. And we've got a horse. We've got a horse this year.
This is the last day of Reno, and everything's clicking this year. Our team has always clicked really well. Now the team and the plane are working really well.
We're happy with the plane. The plane's running great. The crew's doing awesome. We've been thrashing all these years. Now it's all falling in line.
You're going to have 3 airplanes that could be the hit of the whole races. The way the Thunder Mustang is flying, and Nemesis NXT and Mr. Greenemeyer, the airplane, They could be wingtip to wingtip to wingtip, start to finish. Those 3 airplanes are going to set the new standard.
Running so close, you can't afford a mistake because you'll be winding up a couple places back. Somebody cuts a pylon, that's time penalties.
If you cut the pylon, they're going to penalize you a certain amount of seconds.
And that could cost them a race. If they're leading the race and they get penalized several seconds, then that could put them in 3rd place or 4th place.
After 4 years of struggle, the Nemesis NXT is finally ready to take on the top competitors in sport class.
Sport class flight check. 351. 33. 3X. Clear for takeoff, sport class. Roger. Copy. Race control. Sport class is up. Ready for sprint. Sport class pace starting the left turn. Okay, you're looking good. Gentlemen, you have a race.
It's a real fine race here. Watch them. Look at this. Holy cow. It looks like they're actually flying air combat out there and trying to see who can turn tighter.
Race control, 351. Where's 351?
John Parker called Mayday.
Just going on down right here. Okay, 3X, you're currently number 2. Downwind midfield.
We have to wait now for the folks in the pylons to be calling in here, and all of them count. We got judges at all of them right now, and they're comparing notes right now. We'll get the word on how clean that race really was.
We had a belt failure in the last 2 laps. That caused us to lose an extreme amount of power.
It was Hull.
We are still waiting to hear from all of our judges, and we'll give you the final rundown of the winning order.
33 cut a pylon.
We just heard this.
All right. Oh, man, I can't believe we probably won that race. We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
The judges have ruled a 12-second penalty for Rod Von Grote due to a pylon cut. Team Nemesis has won the race by 2 seconds.
Jon Sharp in the Nemesis NXT 3X is our winner, 2 seconds, separating numbers 1 and 2.
Our plane was right there. One guy had a problem. He's out. Another guy cut a pylon. He's out. And there we are, winning the race.
just won a national championship with the NXT, and we knew we had a horse. It's been 6 years, the toil and tribulations that we went through and where we've come. The crew, everybody worked so hard. That's just amazing. I'm exhausted.
A little bummed out is probably the biggest understatement that anybody could come up with. We could have probably been out in front today had a belt not broken. We're just very disappointed.
Now here's the second place in the Sport Gold. Rod Van Croat, number 33.
Well, I thought we had it in the bag, and we did. We were the fastest. You know, made a pylon cut and a little bit of an error. It was a 12-second pylon cut. We lost by 2 seconds.
A lot of it's to do with the pilot. The machine, of course, helps a lot too, but having the combination is really the winning force. You need both, for sure.
The winner of the first place in the sport is Jon Sharp, number 3X, Nemesis.
I don't think this is soaked in.
Yeah.
You know, with everything we've been through, and it probably won't soak in for a couple of days.
How about that?
Jon is very patient and methodical, and his whole concept was to put a stock NXT on the race course and show the world what it could do. The out-of-the-box NXT is obviously far superior to anything that's out there.
Making all the parts for all the different kits and all the work we did, it's definitely worth it now.
The path to get to something good was long, but we knew it all along.
Mayday, Mayday, 3X, Mayday.
We knew we had something good.
We proved what this airframe can do, and then when we get our Lycoming engine tweaked as good as these other guys, look out. It's going to be this incredible speed shown, and it just shows how great this airframe is and what it's going to be able to do when we do get that super hopped up engine. And look out next year.
As more NXT kits are completed and raced, a whole new class is created to accommodate their speeds. Super Sport Class. Jon Sharp's dream has changed the future of air racing.